Steve Gamache here with another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review, and what we're got on the table this time is the Kato. Now this is Hiroshi Kato. There's a couple different Katos that Mark carries, so this is Hiroshi Kato. The knife is VG10, what we call Suminagashi or Damascus Wa Nakiri 165 millimeter knife. So we'll unpack all that, but the steel is VG10 full stainless steel, pretty common in a lot of different knives. Heat treat, he goes for on this one's about 61 and 62 Rockwell, so they treat a little bit harder, which should increase the edge retention a bit. The construction is a multi-layered Damascus cladding, typically a kind of a nickel combination nickel steel finish, and to get those layers. And they do etch this, and the different cladding materials lend themselves to these big visual variations in layers. So it's etched, so it's really cool look. So if you want a dramatic knife, there you go. So we've got that multi-layered cladding over the top of that hard VG10 core steel. The weight on this is pretty light. These are thin knives. It is 136 grams or 4.8 ounces, and all these knives are going to vary just a little bit from size, dimension, spine thickness, and so on because of their handmade nature. This particular one's around 160 on the edge. A little hard to deal with edge here with this tip, but around 160 millimeters. Overall length about 12.1 inches or so. The spine thickness, these are thin. This one is really thin. It's actually almost as thin or the same thickness all the way through the spine. So it's about 1.6, 1.7 millimeters. And then it's just all the way through to the end. It's just basically the same thickness. So it's got a little bit of flex to it. It's not the huge, thick spine Nakiri. So it's not super stiff, but fairly stiff. The blade height is 52.5 on this one. The middle is about 52.9, so I measure them at the back and then the middle. So it's pretty straight across as far as height. The handle is just kind of your standard that you see in a lot of knives. Oval, ambidextrous, rosewood handle with the black packerwood ferrule. Got a nice tight fit and finish on the install. Handle's really smooth throughout, ergonomic. You've got a bit of a neck area. You can stick your finger in there. It's not super long, so I can't get my finger all the way in there, but it still gives you a nice crook for a pinch grip. So this style of handle and neck is kind of oriented more towards a pinch grip, really. The circumference is a standard 3 inches or 76 millimeter on that, where the ferrule meets the main part of the handle. Let's take a close-up look at this finish on this guy. So here is your etched Damascus layered finish. Suminagashi refers to layers or paper layers. Here's your core steel at the edge. So this is a nice dramatic effect. You do have, pop this up here, there we go. You do have hand-chiseled kanji on this, which is a nice effect, and it shows up really pretty well in the right light. It doesn't get too lost as long as the lighting's right, so it's a nice effect, authentic effect on this. Nice touch. There's your layers. Pretty clean fit and finish on this. This one, it's so thin, you kind of have to see it in person. I think you can kind of catch that, but this is a true kind of traditional clad construction where they don't wrap the cladding over the spine, so you can see the layering there. You can see the core steel peeking through in the middle, and obviously it's all very thin, but you can see the construction on the spine, kind of like a cutaway. It's pretty cool. The blade is overall thin, and so is it at the edge, so it's ground thin throughout. And fit and finish is good. The spine, you could probably touch up. It's a little sharp on the very corners. You could clean it up with some sandpaper in probably 5 or 10 minutes. They've done a little bit more work to the choil and to the neck, but the spine, I think, could probably use just a little bit of sanding. That's really your personal preference. It does not take long at all to do that. Let's see. Let's do the cutting board. Figure out where we were there. Got off track. Out of box edge on this, I'd say it's about a 5 out of 10. It's got a reasonably kind of average style edge with average polished on it, reasonably well ground. Of course, you could probably get it quite a bit sharper. So if you sharpen, you might want to go ahead and sharpen this out of the box. If you don't sharpen, maybe have Chef Knives to go sharpen it for you. It's a paid service. They can sharpen it for you, so out of the box you'll know what sharp really is and what the actual potential of this knife is, and also maybe what the edge retention is like with a good, fresh, clean edge on it. So let's take a look at the... Well, let's look at it this way first, because you can kind of tell it's pretty darn flat, isn't it? So we just kind of boom. This one doesn't really flow. It just boom, hits a flat, a little bit of back belly right here at the heel. And so, boom, I'm not rolling into it, I'm dropping into it. So this is flat. This is like cleaver style. You do have a rounded tip, so you could rock this, although it doesn't flow into it. It's just boom, boom, boom. So it depends on what your style is. I'd say, yes, you could rock with this, but it's not a smooth flower because you don't have much belly to it at all. Even though you got a little bit of a back belly in the tip, or I should say the chin area at the back of the heel. But that's what this particular one is. You could probably, if you wanted to do a little bit of work on it, maybe smooth it out a little bit if you felt like doing it, but that's what it is out of the box. It's actually pretty sharp because you can see I'm pulling up wood off my cutting board here doing this. But that's now a different knife might be slightly different. That's what this one is. So every knife can be just a little bit different on the profile, but at least it gives you an idea of what the general characteristics are. So there you have a really dramatic looking all stainless knife. So there you have the Kato VG10 Suminagashi or Damascus wa Nakiri 165mm knife.